Hey everyone, in today's video, we've got a Kenwood CD player that I picked up for 10 bucks at Goodwill. But does it work? That is the question we need to figure out pretty soon here. Let's take a close look at this thing. Normally I start up front, but I just want to go here real quick. Prove it. $10. Anyways, the Kenwood DP-M4010. It is a 6-disc changer. A cartridge style, which is a little different than the 5-disc changers we're used to seeing out of something that looks like this. This is from the late 1980s, and it's quite dirty. It's really quite dirty. It's definitely going to need a good cleaning at the end of all of this. If it works, or if we can get it working, I don't know. The biggest problem I'm noticing is, you can see it right there. There is a really gnarly dent in this thing, and I don't know how that happened. And I don't know if that is going to be something we have to worry about later. I guess I can try and massage that out. Drink rings from drinks for good times, hopefully. And in the back, it says it right there, manufactured in December of 1989. No optical out on this one, but we do have a system control. All right, enough messing around. Let's get this power cord undone here. Jeez. Make it our device under test, and let's turn it on. Well, that's a good sign. The screen lights up, I hear a motor running. I guess maybe I would expect that motor to stop running. Stop, play. Interesting. All the buttons seem to work. But that one's kind of important, and we're not getting anything. If I had to speculate, that motor we hear, yeah, I think we've got a broken belt. Let's take the cover off. These two in the back will always sneak up on you, especially if you work on 70s stuff. And all 8 are the same screw, so that's awesome. And what will we find? Alright, looking clean inside. I'm going to turn it back on and see if I can see a pulley spinning. Yeah, I cannot see where that is coming from at all. Let's see what happens when I pull this out. Well, that doesn't go to the motor, obviously. I can pull this one out, maybe? No? What about this one? Okay, well that one stops it. Well, I don't know how useful that information will be, but unplugging this connector made the motor noise go away. And now I plug it back in. The motor noise comes back. And I can't see anything, but I did notice one thing that I want to show you. I found the first evidence of damage from that hit it took. Right there you can see a crack in that base, and I wonder if we're in for some further mechanical damage beyond that. Let's see if playing with this does anything. Any micro switches that get triggered and make it do things? I think what this here is it's supposed to be the mechanism that grabs the proper disc selection, 1 through 6. Obviously it's not being given a good option right now, and nothing is happening as I do that. I'll bet you that motor is trying to make this whole thing work properly and have it come out, and it's just not able to do that because the belt's broken. We're gonna have to take this very much so apart. Hopefully this comes out easily. So I think in order to see that motor that doesn't have a belt on it, we're simply going to have to remove this entire module. There were zip ties here, but I forgot to hit record. So to get this thing out, there's 4 screws holding it in, and we can just slip those out real quick. A nice machine screw. And we've got some cables to pull. We've got one back here. That one just gets pulled straight out. And then we've got the other ones we played with earlier. And we might be able to lift this thing out. There might be something holding it in over here. We might need to take the faceplate off. One screw back just for the time being. We'll flip it over. And we got 1, 2, 3 right down there. We've got a few locking tabs up here. I think we need to depress. Oh yeah, absolutely. Very easy. Wow, that was painless. Okay, now we've got like a second bezel. Ah, I see what's happening. If you look straight on, I'm probably not going to be able to get it with the camera, but on each side there's a through hole, and back there is a screw. Then there's one on top too, so I'll get those 3, and then maybe this faceplate will completely come off. It's a very small screw for such a crucial thing. Well, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Then I think we just yank this cable. Yep. And what's going on here? Power switch want to come with? Yes. There's one screw holding the power switch on. Oh, then we have one more cable. Ah, I understand. Alright, so we can let that hang out back there. And looking right here, I don't see a broken belt, but I do see that. And I wonder if it does anything. Looks like hand turning the motor does something here. Alright, real quick, before I remove this thing completely, let's plug it back in and turn on the power with the connector that was making the belt move. Let's just see if we can make anything happen here. So I'll turn the line back on and I'll throw the power button. Oh, interesting. I saw it try to do something, so that's a good thing. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to plug the rest of these in and see if that does anything. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, interesting. That was new. Okay, now we're back to where we were. So you can see that that pulley is just running. So maybe what's happening is it's waiting for some logic or some switch to happen. Let me turn this thing off again. Let's get some actual control going here from our faceplate. See if we can get that to work out. Okay, I don't think I'm going to short out on anything, but let's see. Yeah, see, that's new. And I see that lens moving. It's looking for a disc. But then it gets there. So what's up with that? If I hit different disc, can I hit eject? Let's see. If I turn it off, and I turn it back on again, and I hit eject, yeah, okay. Isn't that something? So you see what just happened there? I turned it off, and I turned it back on again when it was doing its little dance, and we were able to eject the cassette. Are there any CDs in it? No. That's a shame. So I think there's a switch in here that is not closing. I think the computer, the logic or whatever, is waiting for something to happen and it's just not happening. But while we've got it apart, let's just kind of marvel at this little cassette thing. I used to have one of these actually. You just put your finger right there and then that unlocks these things. You put your CD in. I'll go grab one. I got this thing at the thrift store for $1. So this will be a great one to hear. And of course you gotta make sure you put it back in correctly. So we saw it try to check disc 1, so now that we have this, maybe it'll grab disc 1 and read it. I'll haphazardly put this back in. I heard it snap in, so let's turn this on. Okay, so grab disc 6 first. Or no, okay, so I think what just happened is I put it in disc 6 instead of disk 1. And that is exactly what happened. So I need to have this in disk 1 because that's what it's trying to read. Jeez. Someone really got this thing dirty. This was not a clean person who owned this. I'll lift this back up and put it in. Let's hit play. Let's see if it reads it. Oh man. Yep. Look at that. Can you see the display? It's playing the disc. Let's go to the next track. It's a little slow, but it does it. Ooh. Alright, so we have more problems than just that. It completely gave up on that. So it just rejected the disc and put it back. So if I hit play again, it'll grab it. It'll play it. It'll do track 1. Then it tries track 2. It's definitely very slow to find tracks. I don't know if that's just because it's from 1989 and I'm used to newer CD players or what. But here, let's try this now. Let's go to disc 2. So it puts it away, and then it pulls disc 2, and it tries, and it's going to put that back, and it's going to go to disc. Why is it working now? Now it's working. This is very obnoxious. I don't like this. Alright, now it's time for discs. Oh, there we go. See? Now we're stuck again. So we saw that moving. What switch? Yeah, look at that. Right there. I tapped that and then it started working. So I think I found it. And now it knows that there's only a disc in disc 1. So if I hit disc 2, nothing will happen. 3, 4, 5, 6, but if I hit 1, it'll start playing it. Or not. Oh my gosh. This thing is a mess, folks. It's an absolute mess. That's pretty annoying. It just kind of gives up and then it scrapes the CD against the tray. Alright, one more time. Replay this time. And then it just gives up. Okay, whatever. So the good news is I think now we know more or less exactly what's going on here, so we can get started with the surface. Now I will say this lens does not exactly look the cleanest to me. I will take a foam swab with some alcohol and clean that off real quick, just in case that is one of our problems. Then I'll take a clean dry one and finish that off. Yep, I think that looks better. And then next we saw it happen right here. That switch, we tapped it, and then that told the machine that it was ready to move on to the next step. So that's not the right size screwdriver. Let's see if we can get this off and see what's going on here and clean it. Yeah, that right there is the cutest little switch you ever did see. Now how the hell do I clean that? Now this feels like a recipe for disaster. It's a little plunger switch, and you might be able to see the little locking tabs on there. I mean, I guess I can try and get that off, but I'm slightly terrified to do that. Actually, it wasn't so bad. I just took my fingernail and got the one side. Maybe I can get the other fairly easily. Okay, so there, I got that off. Maybe you can see in there, but it's a little bit oxidized, and I don't really know how else I would clean that. Maybe those metal components come out? Yeah, it's literally just a spring. I think I'll just take a drop of this and just put the cap back on after I get one drop in here, exercise it, and that'll probably be good enough for this. And hopefully that wasn't too much. Let's do that a bunch. And that's probably going to get this thing working very reliably again. Okay, where'd I put that screw? There it is. Let's go ahead and put that back. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good after that and a lens cleaning. I'll bet we might get some more reliable behavior out of this thing now. So I'll turn that back on. Yeah, it immediately started playing the disc, and if we go through the other discs, we shouldn't have a problem. Okay, let's hit the play button on disc 1. See if it plays it. Before we hook this thing up to an amplifier, we can check the output at the RCAs with a multimeter. So let's take our black probe, we'll put it on ground anywhere, like any screw. And then for the left channel, let's go right here. And look at that. You see that number, or numbers? That is music. We'll go down here to the right channel. Again, music. This CD player works, folks. It is working. I know we just saw the music on the multimeter, but I want to hear it for myself. So let's take a listen. Turn that volume up. There it is. Sounds good. Now I do still want to take this thing apart and try to lubricate all of the parts inside, because this thing is worth it so far. I mean, I think it's really nicely built. I think it's really easy to service. Unlike that Marantz 5-disc changer that you all saw, this is actually serviceable, and I'll show you that right now. You know, for that Marantz, which is actually right there, and by the way, I bought a second one and didn't tell anybody, but you can see there's your adjustments for your laser output. It's right there. Like, I can do that with this thing running. I don't have to take it apart, guess at the adjustment, and put it back together. This is actually a serviceable unit. So I will clean this thing up nice. I'll give the sled some grease and all that fun stuff. Make sure this thing is gonna keep going, because I like it. So to do that, let's get everything ejected. I'll just turn this off so we can get the faceplate back out of here. Pull the ribbon cable out of the faceplate. Unplug there again. Yes, I keep forgetting how that one works. Now we'll just put that over there. We can take our CD carousel, or changer. Then I think we just have to unplug the rest of the stuff. Unplug these little guys again. I got this one off camera. Take out this one screw we reinstalled. And this should just lift right out. Yep. Oh, there's one ground that we gotta undo. Don't want to forget that. And there you have it. And this guy fell off finally, so we can glue this back on. So the first place we're going to look is underneath, and we can already see quite a few things that we can play around with. First thing is, that is our sled motor. It is a worm gear powering some other gears for reduction, and that's going to move the lens around. And we see these two pins right here. We can take 5 volts from our power supply, put that there, and move the thing around, see how well it moves. So up here we've got the DC power supply. We can turn this on, and we'll set the output voltage to 5 volts. I'm going to take one and clip it on here. And we've got the other one. Let's just tap this real quick. It looks like that goes the other way. So let's flip them. And we'll be able to see this thing move away. There you go. Very nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the voltage all the way down, and I'm going to swap the leads. I'm going to apply very low voltage just to see if we can get it to move very slowly with ease. So there we go, I got it to start moving. I just want to watch this thing kind of make it all the way through without issue. And that's going to tell me that we don't have any binding issues, everything's still well lubricated, that there's probably nothing of real concern happening here. I noticed something when we were playing too, like around track 5 it seems to have more trouble focusing. You know, watching this thing move at this low voltage, which is not even a volt. This thing seems fine. I really don't think there's much need to do anything to it really. Because the only thing I really could do is just add a little bit more grease to the worm gear part, since that's seeing the most motion. So I'll just take some white grease and apply it very lightly in there. And that'll kind of work its way around. And maybe if I'm feeling real generous, just put a little bit more on these guys. This is probably too much grease, honestly. I increased the voltage just a little bit so we can get this to go a little faster. And we'll just do this a few times until I feel the grease has been worked in enough. Next thing I want to look at is this switch right here that looks oddly similar to the one up top. So I think what this does is it's telling the CD player the sled has reached the home position. How about we check the resistance of that first, because we'd like to be certain that that is an open circuit. And it is. Now let's finish bringing that sled in. And let's check it now. And that there is 1 ohm, which is fine. I don't think it's worth it for me to take that apart and risk breaking it. Check out this part down here. That is a Hall effect sensor or something. It's got 3 wires coming out of it, and it passes over these little cutouts in this steel plate here. This is what kept spinning, so we must have gotten to about here with this, and then the motor was just spinning freely, because it was looking for something to happen and nothing was happening. When we want to go grab a disc or pull a disc in, we're using this thing, and it's probably counting number of blips in the travel to understand what's going on. Then this one here is bigger, so that must be its home position. And it looks like we've got grease here and here. We'll add some new, and that'll make this mechanism a little bit happier. And a little bit heavier on the grease with this one, since it's a pretty, well, relatively heavy-toothed gear here. I think that's about it for down here, and then of course on the sides, the way this whole thing is working is we have some channels cut out on the sides here that allow this thing to kind of raise this whole tray up as that big gear moves along. It looks like this piece may come out with relative ease. We'll see if I regret this. But I'd like to get a little bit of grease inside of this channel, the other side of that. Ah, shoulder screw. That's very specific to what's going on here. This is probably all unnecessary, but, you know, makes for a good video. I almost missed one small detail. The whole transport was trying to lean this way, and it wasn't falling into that slot, and I felt it once I tried putting these screws back in. Something just wasn't right, so I had to make sure I went back into the slot. See, this is what I'm talking about. It was doing that. You want to make sure you're lined up good. And this side has 2 channels. Wow, you get to do double the lubrication. Now, up top, what's left? We have this mechanism here that's powered by another motor, and this is the one that actually brings the disc into the CD player. I saw absolutely no issues with this mechanism, so I think I'm gonna just leave it alone. Maybe just a touch of grease on this large gear here, but that is it. And the last thing we can do mechanically is glue this piece back in place. So we'll just take some crazy glue. Oh gosh. It's already going everywhere. Set this in place. And that should be plenty sufficient for the future. I don't think anybody's going to be dropping this CD player anytime soon. And we have a visitor. Sadie. Hello. Good evening. So good to see you. What do you think, Sadie? Is this CD player going to live a new life? Sadie was just standing near this new SX650 I just picked up. What do you think? Should we power wash it? It's looking a little dirty back there. As you can see, this turned out pretty good. We can do that with it, so I call that fixed. Next thing I was looking at on this thing was the laser pickup board. I was checking the capacitors just for fun, and I'll show you what happens when I look at this one right in here. I have to get in there real tight. Oh, that's supposed to be a 220 microfarad capacitor, and we've got 152, so I think I'm gonna recap this board since it's just 2 screws to get it off and 5 caps. I haven't really used this thing much at all. I bought it on Amazon for a few bucks. Yeah, all 3 of these 220s measure in like the 150 range, but we had 2 100s here. How did they test? Oh gosh. Oh wait. Oh, I need to go back and see. I just put the wrong value cap in there. I just assumed these looked the same. I thought they were both going to be 100, but the one was a 33, and there's nothing wrong with that cap. I gotta go back and look and see which one I incorrectly replaced. Don't ever assume, folks. Don't ever assume. I haven't shown you yet, but there is a service manual that I do have for this, and C6 is supposed to be the 33, so let's just kind of haphazardly get that out. Anyways, the moral of the story is only the 220 microfarad caps were bad. The others, the 100 and the 33, tested okay. So without further ado, let's get this thing back in the unit, power it up, and see if it still works. Okay, it would appear we are back. And now with our new capacitors, we seem to be having more trouble finding the CD. Well, it looks like I've done something wrong here because it's having trouble putting the CD back. I think we need to take it back out again. Alright, that problem was from missing a tooth on these gears here. And you could actually see this tray was not level when you looked there and there, where my index finger and thumb are pointing. So I just loosened this up, moved it over one tooth, and now we should be back in business. And the main problem that was causing, you saw I was failing to push the disc back into this holder here. Or the magazine, that's what we call this, the magazine. It was crooked, so it wasn't going in straight, and it was having a lot of trouble. So now that we've got those teeth aligned, this should work a little better. I'll turn this back on, and we'll put our magazine back in. See if that helps us at all. Let's see if we can go to disc 5, which we have something in. Oh yeah, much better. Good catch. Glad I caught that. I'll give you some CD player ASMR here. Nope. Just when I thought things were okay. Just having trouble. Oh, it's okay. Back to track 2 again. Yeah, it likes it now. Track 8. Okay, disc 5. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd say this thing works pretty well. I think we should get this cleaned up, put back together, and wrap up this video. And yeah, I gotta say, this thing's looking a lot better than it was. Much cleaner. Very good. I also tried massaging the lid with a block of wood and my workbench downstairs, and it didn't work too well, but it is better than it was. And that's about it for this Kenwood. I wanted to mention that the service manual for this CD player is actually really good. I talked about in that other video about the Marantz CD player, how Marantz doesn't want you to service this thing. They don't want you to be able to work on it. You look at this thing's service manual, Kenwood wanted you to work on this. Kenwood wanted you to be able to repair this. It's very evident in the service manual. And I was able to figure out just about everything I needed to, except for some of the electronic adjustments in here. There is actually a procedure for properly setting the laser power, but I need to be able to measure in milliwatts, and I don't have a tool that can do that. There's also a test CD that is out there that you can use to set the focus and balance. What does it say? There's tracking error balance and focus error balance, focus gain and tracking gain. So those are things that can be adjusted on here, but I just don't have that test CD. Otherwise I could probably do it, but we might have to save that for a future video. But at the end of the day, this thing showed up not playing at all, and now it plays kind of okay. And it sounds good too. I think it sounds a lot better than that Marantz one. I was switching between digital files on my phone and this thing of the same CD, and I couldn't really tell much of a difference. So this thing is actually a pretty decent CD player. I had a good time working on it, and I would recommend one of these used to anybody looking for a used CD player like this. I would not recommend anything like that Marantz I was working on earlier. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers, and thank you to my members who get early access to videos just like this one. I will see you in the next one.